Welcome, everybody. Hope my audio is coming through. Let me grab my drink and then we'll get started on working on these Rasalhague hussars. Right. First order of business, got to get the hair under control. Second order of business. Clean the glasses. By the bone. I have no idea why some of these are so dry. So I am one of those mutants with 20/20 vision, but I am not able to do as well at this scale without a little magnification. So I'm trying to be a tough guy, power through it, get help where you need it. Right. And you just in case, paper towels. Okay. So these are doing pretty well in the state they're in. I'm quite happy with how the Ostrock and the Wolverine are coming along. So much so that I think I'm going to do I'm going to do panel lighting on two of them tonight. I'm not going to get started on the Hellbringer yet. And I do want to finish the terrain on Das Trebuchet. All right. So I'm going to grab up those. This box. This box. Right there. I had a thought that I'd rather a more diverse set of walking colors. It's not often that I have thoughts, but also I'm double checking my audio. I hope I'm coming through. Mm, Oh, I think I muted the wrong mic. One sec. There we are. Hopefully that fixed it. All right. I think I'd like to get started with the flocking because that's fun sometimes. I can always tell who used my glue last. Okay. I think this weekend is going to be a, yep, that's open, trip to the game store. Where did you roll off to? So when I'm applying flocking, I like to apply the glue pretty precisely. And I was shown a handy tool. My friend at a game store, not a fun game store, I should say. And it's this simple tube. You apply it directly over top. Oh, somebody's pinging me. Oh well. Apply it directly over top. Now, some might say this is a little ridiculous. You can easily snip it down if you want. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that in conjunction with the itty bitty pointy tweezers to set up a ground seed. So, some of you might wonder why I put this here. I have an orange cat. He will drink this if I do not cover it. All right. I'm going to pick out a couple of small rocks that I'm going to put on. I'll just do two on this one. Why? Because that's all I feel like putting. Right? And I am going to place them. I'm going to glue them. Tiniest dots of glue. One up here by the front corner. And the other one closer to the middle. All right. Now I'm going to do some kind of clumpy bushes. I've picked up these fun shrubs at Joann's on their going out of business sale. Um, they are available at many local gaming stores. They are also fiercely close. There's one. Here's the other. Okay. This puppy is stubborn. Should have opened this before the stream, but this way you get the amusement of seeing me goof. Okay, there we go. Now make two bundles of shrubbery. Bonus points to anyone who has Monty Python in their head right now. One is going to have the tall bit. The other is just going to be made up of smaller grasses. Now I am still going to, even though this has adhesive on the bottom, I really want it to stick. So, going to stand it up right here. And then build around using some very basic grass tufts. And this way I'm going to apply glue around. I'm not sure if you can see precisely how little glue is there. You see that shiny bit? That's very close to it. And we're going to take our little tufts and we're just going to tap them in to the glue so the glue sets into the tuft. I'm going to not quite make a pattern around it. Oop. Oh, there we go. Got to get it tucked in fairly tightly to this stone. It added a little to the edge, so I'm going to flatten part of this one around it. See? Like it's trying to cover the stone a little bit. And it's quickly drying out on me. Oop. Careful not to flip it. There. Got a little patch of shrubbery down at the base. Clearly different species. Now the next section I want to do, I'm going to get out my alien turquoise gamer's grass. Also pretty easy to find at your local game stores. I'm going to do this as just kind of a slight puddle on the backside. And then I'm going to plant one more so that kind of creeping over towards where the mech is. So some of the fun things about the gamer grass is they give you all these extra little shapes. This one is kind of L-shaped. So I'm going to take advantage of that and kind of curl it up around the stone like that. And then I'm going to continue with a couple of these other grass clumps. tucked up behind the plate. Oh, you're not kidding. That was my mistake. There we are. Then I'm going to brush it over a little bit so you can see it kind of coming over into it, almost as if it's gently changing into another grass. Okay. And bring that up higher. Okay. Now, gamer's grass, the fancy stuff gets expensive. But with patience and a little extra work, you can use the simpler stuff to really enhance what you're already doing. I do so much more with the little tufts than I do the big stuff. I go through these a lot faster. These are inexpensive and you can get them in packs of a whole bunch of colors. Um, I will. I'm gonna put a link in the description later that points to the multi-pack of these that I usually reorder because it's easy. Okay, now still have glue on here. We're gonna need that later. We're gonna need it later because we're gonna do a snow base on these. We're gonna need the glue later. Unfortunately, these are not reusable between sessions. The glue will dry in there, it will just stick, it's done. And if you try and leave it on, it'll just be a permanent cap on your glue. So, just to slow it down a little bit, I'm going to put the cap on off to the side. Okay. All right. I did put these away last time. Bad Dennis. No donut for you. Not like I need donuts. But let's move on. Okay. So before I do any more detailing on these two, I want to do the panel line. Well, I did simple, just black panel lining on here, and I used a little bit of steel tone green shade paint. Um, this is actually fairly simple single color panel line. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with these um, because, well, actually not the same thing with these. I'm going to do the base black, except on spots that's blue. In which case, I'm going to switch over to Drakenhof Nightshade and get some dark blue panel lining here. This actually is not quite done, so it's staying on the table for now. For my workflow, I keep groups of models that I'm painting the same colors together. If it's still a paint work in process, I keep it here. If it's done, I have it on the over my shoulder. Oh, what's this stupid thing called? Airbrushing table. Okay, so let's shake up our panel liner. Prepare to open this batch. If you're doing panel line, just put it where you want. If you are doing shading, you can put it over larger areas. I am doing panel lining right now. So good. Grab Cotman, 000, oh, quad zero. Um, oh, oh. Wondering why my handle on it was so short. And I think this is coming along nicely. You will see it's going to be a lot more pronounced where I use the blue-green. But it's not going to be as pronounced as if I put a black on. Remember? Definitely seeing places I'm gonna have to come back to and touch up with the blues. That's okay, we're still early on. Those days. So I'm going to ditch that as a brush. I stop trying perfection and follow some advice. And that advice is you can always clean up your panel lining afterwards. figured that'd be a good thing to communicate here, because some days you got it, some days you don't. Tonight, I feel like I don't got it to the point where I'm almost ready to put down the panel lining and just go back to color work. And you're going to have those nights, and that's okay. But I am having one of those nights, and I'm going to use it as an example to show you how you can clean up your errant panel lines. So the first thing to remember is to have on hand whatever the appropriate solvent is. Oof, messy brush. This is why you do not use real hair for solutions like this. It will permanently stain it, and you don't want that. You had a lump in you. Okay. Mm, mm. That's much better. It's not perfect, but it wasn't perfect to start. Going to gently reshape this. Okay. Reach into one of my method drawers here. Oh, just happens to be one of our two techniques. That's techniques. Extra Q-tips. And oh yeah, I think I moved it. Okay. Okay. Grab my box O solvents. So for the panel line accent color, I'm going to use turpentine. Um, and make sure it's nice, whew, nice and dry. You get a fresh Q-tip. And we're going to start on this leg here. Just a touch. Need the whole thing soaked. And we're just going to wipe it off. And dry it off. And you see that whoop, most of the panel line is still there. Paint is intact. but we cleaned up the line. There was too much on there. I need to clear it off. Just squeeze it out onto my paper. Clean up this leg. Where else was I really unhappy with it? Yeah, this section. And there, just a touch. There, our lines are cleaned up. Not perfect, but better. And we can go back. As soon as I close this jar of turpentine, I picked this up at Michael's. You can get turpentine a lot of different places. If I were to try and clean up the shade paints, I would use airbrush thinner. Um, okay, get the stinky away. And I could even use it if I wanted to clean up this brush a little, because what I had on it was turpentine soluble. Yeah, that's clean. That's cleaner. Okay. Let's open the bottle back up again. Set him aside to dry, and then we'll clean him up. I got that to a cleaner for you. I'll use this instead. You may notice I keep turning the model to do wherever I'm working on. I like this stuff all works entirely through capillary action, so I'm letting gravity do most of the work for me. Once the brush bristles split apart and start letting the pigment flow, it'll spread itself for the most part if gravity is allowed to do its job. That's what you do. Pigment will dry and sit into bristles, so using a brush to apply this, you do have to still clean it out periodically. Hmm? I seem to have lost access to the chat for some reason. So if you're trying to chat me right now, I apologize. me. Right now I live in an apartment and I'm thinking I buy a house. I kind of want to put a bar in it, but not because I drink a lot. I actually really rarely touch the stuff. It's because I want a place with higher chairs so I can get nice, comfy, high back bar stools and have a sink where I'm going to sit and paint. So I don't have to move when I need to change out my water. Almost there. I can still see small black flecks coming out. And you know your brush is clean when you don't see any flecks of pigment coming out in this stuff. And we got it. All right. We have our nice messy panel lines on here. And on here, which you can't see on that camera. I think I'm gonna get rid of that camera. Now, we're gonna grab another person kit. And once this has had a minute to dry, I'm gonna try and clean up the extra pigment. But first, if the water's not clear and clean, it's not helping you paint. Oh, you are here, Noodles. Sorry, my chat just popped up. Glad to see you. I don't know why my cat's being stubborn tonight. It's just trying to be like me, I guess. Okay, I'm gonna give these a few more minutes because I don't want to take up the settled pigment. So instead, I'm gonna grab the clean. This is why I like to work on several mechs at once. And you're always gonna have something drying. Uh-oh. What time is it? Charging time. Oh, yeah. I killed it good. So while this one charges, I'm going to plug in the old one. Not as fast. Still does the job. Yeah. Oh, right. The reminders are out. All right. My trusty number 0 magnifiers. Pink. Oh, how about a little water? Right down to the belly. There we are. That's much better. Slim. Keep the paint thin, I mean. This seems to need it. I'm liking that so far. I'm gonna let a secret out. So I said these mechs are for a guy named Aaron who's trusted me with using a bunch of mechs for him. I decided that since he's putting together a mercenary unit, I think he could use an LRM tank. And right now, since I'm gonna wait for the green to dry, and wait a minute, right? This is not one of the catalyst tanks. This is one of the Iron Wind metal tanks. Um, metal is its own tricky little thing. I was practicing with my airbrush on this. That's why there are two different colors on here. But like I say, if you just keep the paint thin, and you remember where you put your sand. There it is. You can repaint just about anything once it's primed. He doesn't know that this is going to show up in his box. Why am I using a number 1 brush for this, you say? I don't know. I'm sorry, number 0. You're straight up base coating. Let's go big. Wow, the kids trashed this brush. Get a lot of soap on it and hope that helps it. autoscope on that and just set you aside. Anyway, now that's the one. There she is. Number 2. Again, a little water on the brush. Helps pink flow. Get it all the way out to the belly of the brush where it's thickest. Now, the missile racks in these are teeny, teeny, tiny. So I am going to try and keep the paint thin on the front. If it means having to go down, go back over, remove it, etc. Not everybody likes the metal models. I like the way they feel. I like the sharpness of the angles. Um, I do not how persnickety they can be. Yes, I'm going to use a word that my grandparents used. Um, really getting that, I still have problems because I don't work with metal all that much. Getting the initial layer of primer to stick without just pouring it on and losing all of the detail. So I'm still practicing. I've got a toothbrush and Dawn dedicated to doing to prepping metal models to make sure it gets any of the mold release off of it, so that it can still, so it comes out of the mold clean and lets you, you know, have this pretty sharply colored, sharply detailed model. I need more water on my brush. It's dry. Supposed to have that base coat on. Any self-respecting mark unit needs at least one tank of some kind. I like missiles. Let's make a missile tank. Happy little missile tank. Oh, apparently we had a little hitch in the stream. Hope you guys reconnected. All right, so happy little missile tank with its base coat. Yeah, clean, reshaped, and just a touch on the tip to help it keep it shaped. Let it dry. And now I've made a mess of my water again. Somebody may ask, why do you not just use that cup of water? Well, this is a clean surgery. I'm supposed to get up and wash it off. I don't know about that. I'm calling it my anti-lacing stack. All right. We got clean water again. Oop. We almost knocked off our lab mic. What time is it? 10:20. Goodness. All right. I like where his greens are at. I'm going to do a reverse. So his right leg is going to be the green leg. And some of you may go, but Dennis, why didn't you already dry brush him? Well, the answer is yes. I never claimed to be a bright man, but sometimes just dry brushing a huge area is easier for me to do. So I'll take that any day and then re-dry brush if I do a major color shift. Ever asked Aaron if his Merc unit has a name? I should ask him that. I, the exception of the Rasalhague Hussars, which I've fixed this since then, I have a spreadsheet I keep for any unit that I've painted so that I can go back and paint it again. And I was really mad at myself over the Rasalhague Third Hussars that I had done for Aaron and then never wrote down. Um, but I had primary all the way out to squad and carry colors for each one. I have a standardized list of colors that I use for certain kinds of weapons because I don't know, it's kind of my signature. Not much of a signature, but Okay, that's good for me. Okay, not a lot of stand. Now we're going to go back to the Ostrock and the Wolverine and our strongly citrus smelling turpentine. Buddy Charlie's frustrated. His still practically brand new 3D printer is giving him a fit. There. Mart. Steady. Make the test. No test whatsoever. But it's better. Okay. So just a few quick swipes. We cleaned up some fairly messy camel lines. There. Two spots, three spots I missed. Okay, so Wolverine needs a couple of panel line spots hit again. Let's clean up this Ostra because I kind of intentionally made quite a mess. See along this line here. Oh, I took it all off there. That'll happen sometimes. Shoulder. More. A little more on the head. Side of the head. The hand. Oh, this was just a travesty. Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. All right, much cleaner. Still not perfect, still needs some touch-ups on both the paint and some spots I've missed with the panel lines. But it's never unsalvageable. Okay? Put a fresh coat on, dip it, whatever you want to do. Always take your model back to base and repaint. It's okay. So our panel lines are a lot cleaner on this one now. It does still look a bit muddy on the front, I'm not gonna lie. Try and take this, see if I can get some more of that spread. There we are. Now, again, looks a little muddy. One of the things that will help, this is Dot. Dot say hi. Um, one of the things that will help that is when we start doing the edge highlighting. So I'm gonna go ahead and put away or close up the turpentine. So I'm tired of that smell. And let him dry. This one's had time. So I'm gonna grab Temple Guard Blue. We can contrast it with the. I'm not sure. I think that's light enough. This is. Oh, that's not even open. All right, that's the one that's open. While that's shaking, we have two of them in the window color. Okay. So I'm thinking the edge highlight. I want something that's gonna bring it up, really show it off. This color is the Temple Guard Blue. I think it's a little too close. I'm gonna go here. My other option is using Glacier Blue, which I just, you ever find a color you just go, oh, I love it. That's this. Which on its own, you don't see how much blue is in it. It is very blue-gray, so it might be a bit much. I think I'm leaning towards the deep sky blue or the Lothern. Definitely not the Temple Guard. I see another spot I want. Okay. I think I'm going with the look. Pop that open. Have a nice crisp 000. wet. Yep. See the water flowing. And the paint is flowing the way I want it to. I'm going to see how this looks. A couple sections of this. There's a cat war about to start. Toby, come here, buddy. Come here. Leave her alone and I'll give you a treat. I'm not going to give him a treat. But unlike his sister, he doesn't know that word. Well, folks, I think the jury's in. I think it's going to be too subtle. So we're going to go further up the brightness spectrum. Happy little glacier blue. Toby. Toby, come here, buddy. Okay. See that tiny little dot there? That's the color we're going for. We're going to see how that looks. So I put it on this angle and you can see it pop there. So let's go ahead and try and go over what I already want. Try and get a little bit of definition on it. I'm just working this right arm. Now moving out. is definitely making some differentiation. Not perfect, it needs work. And if I hit up the um, panel lines again, it will show stronger definition. And so that means I am pairing up Glacier Blue with Blue Green. Yes, it's pretty sharp, but now what am I going to do with this Stegodon Scale Green? Could hit it, pair it with the Lothern Blue, but I think that's too much. I think Sotek Green, because it still has a lot of the green in it, not just blue, might be a good pairing. So let's go ahead and test that out on a small spot. Oh no, let's not. Let's take crap out of this paint. This paint that I haven't used in 3 weeks. Yeah. There we are. That, that comes up as a highlight. That's a good pairing for me. think that's some good progress on him. I can see a whole bunch of spots where I really need to touch mud. And I need a little gray paint here and here. I still have the edge highlighting to do on the gray, but it's now popping a little more. I'm going to do one more thing after I wash my face. Okay, now to set this with the same round scale green. I'm going to set these two together, and they're over in my Rasalhague pile. So some of the places the edge highlights are a little thick. I'm going to grab a dry brush and grab fairly stiff one at that. There we are. This is fairly unused. And I'm going to just go over the panel line, the edge highlights a little. And this will just brush off a little of the excess paint. In cases where it's a little less set, it will blend it in fairly well. But we still wind up at distance with a few notable exceptions, like, say, here where there's a little too much. Like it's a highlight. At a distance, you can see more differentiation in the parts of the knife, which is all I'm going for. All right. Well, folks, I have had a long day, and it was a delight to be uh, able to paint in front of you. But I need to call it a night. I've got some presentations to do tomorrow for the day job. But you can be sure I will be back. At the very least, my next scheduled um, painting um, next scheduled painting should be on Thursday. And I will, yeah, Thursday at 9 p.m. I will finish him. I have one detail to put on, and I'm going to show you how I practice stuff like that. I'm going to be putting a deer's head on him, specifically on his left shoulder, because I'm a crazy person. I like doing this stuff. And then I'm also going to put deer's heads on stags specifically on each of these. And on this. Detailing on this will also happen probably. Hoping to finish up. Depending on how my week goes, I may spend some time off camera doing some painting because I still do that sometimes. And it was wonderful talking to all of you tonight and painting for you. Thanks for everything. You have a great night.